Welcome back, everybody. Hope everyone's had a really good 2 weeks. Welcome back to Beyond the Fog. Okay, so to do a quick little recap from last time, our party was going about their business in the Hopetown markets when the earth started to shake and fire and ash rained down from the sky. In the confusion, you all received visions of world-ending proportions, and a card from Omen's Tarot Cadet got caught on you as things started to calm down. Omen decided that he was being called to some purpose across the fog, and so he resolved to go, and everybody else also decided to accompany him through varying levels of enthusiasm. And the chair is not high enough.
Varying levels of bewilderment.
That too.
Varying levels of, well, this might as well happen.
This might as well happen.
And also, this might as well happen, but with very different inflections.
Yeah. After taking some time to stock up on some really cool items at Foghorn Hall, you stepped through the fog and got various levels of damp. Because it's fog that's been there for thousands of years or something. It's damp.
At least one of us was chill with it. Damp, but kinda happy.
Yeah. And so you've emerged from the fog, looking over a wide, unfamiliar land, and that was kind of where we left you, starting on your path down the small track that leads from the outcropping towards the small town visible below. So, who's doing what?
I think the last thing I established at the last session was that Hortense was already making their way down to the village. Did not communicate any of this, just started walking.
That sounds correct.
Yeah, I remember that, and I think I was following her just in case we got jumped, because who knows what's going to happen, because we literally don't really know anything about the place that we're in.
Audacity just kind of watches these two go, when then just looks at Omen and is like,
The call to adventure is not always accompanied by the voice of reason. And that's just what he's going to say. Perhaps we should stick together.
I guess so. I mean, the little elf lady looks fairly old, so how she survived this long, I'm not quite sure at this point.
Other people are welcome to pipe up and say stuff.
Yes, yeah, Giel is gonna look over and sort of awkwardly tug on the backpack strap. Look, you know what? Maybe you should take this. And they're gonna take off the backpack and sort of drop it in front of Omen and Audacity. You're the ones doing the adventuring stuff. I'm gonna find a tree. And gonna sort of hop off down the path, sort of heading adjacent city ways, but slowly and a bit reluctantly and awkwardly.
Okay. Fair enough. Omen is going to look at the pack and then look over at where Giel kind of absconds to, and then just sort of turn to look at Audacity, and then sort of nod his head at the backpack. He doesn't have arms, so he just sort of nod.
Audacity grabs the backpack, stares at the weird little fish chap. I have no idea what's going on here. The elf lady's gonna get herself killed. Frog guy's gonna get himself killed. I'm just gonna follow along, and whatever tries to do something weird with them, they can play with me.
How far down the hill am I? Like, because I'm not like running, but I'm like, you know, I'm just walking at my normal speed.
You're schmoving. What's your walking speed? 30
Let me
feet?
just check. 35.
35. Okay, cool. Well, I reckon you're probably about
Nimble.
35 feet away from the team then. Um, after Audacity has said this piece, she's going to get a nod from Omen, and then Omen's going to turn towards the path and start gliding in that not quite sure that he's got legs kind of way that he does.
I would like to presumably call out, because I'm guessing I'm a little bit further ahead, to Omen and ask if she knew that there was a town in here. Had she heard of there being a town?
Omen is so Omen, Audacity, and Giel are a little bit further up the back of the behind Hortense and Julian. So you're turning around and shouting back at them, right? Yeah. Okay. So at this call, you can see like they're not far away enough that you actually have to strain to see them or anything. So you can see Omen just sort of shake his hooded head, and he's like, "I know nothing about this place. No one does."
I mean, you gotta assume that the people in the village know something about the place, but whether that's good or not, I'm not quite sure.
Well, we may discover more if we go into the town.
When I hear the yelling, I would like to like turn around and realize how far everyone else is behind me, and I want to be like, "Come on, let's get a shufty in." Like, I know this town's not going anywhere, but I mean, come on, this is really interesting.
You have no sense of caution, it seems.
We all gotta die sometime, but I'm not, you know. I want to know.
I'm into it. Let's go.
Audacity is going to be at the back of this weirdly strung out little group.
Okay, cool. I can finally put that down. Hey, guess what? This long into the session, and now all the art assets are done.
Hey.
Okay. Can I get everybody to roll me a perception check?
Yep.
No, that's not how you.
16.
It's somewhere, I swear. Okay. Oh, that's not where the button is on my keyboard anymore.
How do you do that?
It's with the exclamation mark at the beginning. Is the
Oh,
only thing
that's
you
right. Sorry. At the start or at the end?
At the start.
At the start. You're preemptively excited.
Nope. That's
Nope.
a different dice spot. So just exclamation and then D20 plus 1.
Ah. Yay.
Except without a space. I'm going to ignore the fact that that was a nat 1 because you did it wrong.
No, give me a nat 1. Honestly, I've got a low wisdom.
Okay.
You can
Alright, fine. Nat 1, which makes it a 2. Okay. Great. 18, 5, 16. Okay. So Julian and Audacity, you're a little distracted, I think, via various different people doing various different things. But Hortense and Giel, you two are, for various different reasons, very aware of your environment. So you're able to see...
I'm just terribly, terribly alert.
So you're able to see as you're... as the group, even though you're quite spread out, as the group sort of moves down towards this town, you can see that it's not a huge city, but it's also not like super poor looking. It's maybe about a quarter of the size of Hopetown was. It's got a couple of big buildings, and then most of them are just small houses. And the whole town is surrounded by a maybe 6-foot wooden fence. It doesn't look like it's like a fort or anything, but it has a fence which sort of funnels incoming and outgoing traffic through 2 gates. One at what you assume is north, and the other at what you assume is south. At least it was when you went into the fog, so you're assuming it's the same.
So do we just see this fog? Sorry, the town and the thing around it.
So
do we see?
Well, you can see the town with its little fence, and all the as you come down, like you got a bit of a bird's eye view because you were up on that hill, so you can see that as you're coming down. It's in the middle of some nice, pleasant fields with little hills and trees and stuff. Are you looking for anything in particular that you'd like more detail on?
I would like to see if there are any indications as to how this town supports itself. Like, do I see any agriculture? Do I see any livestock farming? Do I see like windmills? Like, is there anything to indicate how these folks continue to be here?
Okay. Yeah, no, you can see with that 16, you can easily see there's some farms in the fields around the town. There's also like one of the bigger buildings, you reckon it might be an inn, so there's going to be some sort of commerce. It's fairly normal town looking stuff. Doesn't look like there's any particular specialty. It's not like this town does silk, or this town has a mine, or this town is coastal and is a port town, or something like that. And it's not like Hopetown, where it's, alcohol and red lights.
Yeah.
Not to be typecast, but what about bodies of water?
Bodies... They're... Like, you got an 18, so you do catch sight of there being inside the town there is a well. And it's a fairly big well, like it's a nice stone one with the little roof. As for large bodies of water, the best that you can sort of see, there's a few rivers a little bit in the distance, but nothing in this immediate area.
All right.
Can we see any people?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's people.
Do they look happy? Do they look hungry? Are they just busy?
Well, they're moving around, but in order to get that kind of bead on them, you'd have to actually go into the town, rather than just snooping from above.
Not to perpetuate a cliche about my characters, but the second issue in, so to speak. But I think like I briefly stopped to check what the holdup is, but it was really brief, and now I'm just going to keep walking as if I'm going into the town.
Okay.
Right. Remind me also. So there was the volcano. We can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And there were rumblings as though that was about to get real intense. Has it already gotten intense, or is that...
Yeah, no, from what you can see from here, so the volcano is quite some ways away, but it's big. And while the earth has sort of stopped shaking, by the smoke that you can see, and there's a few lava flows down the side of this thing. It did get intense. It has been intense, and it is now we're out the back end of it having been intense.
Okay. Cool. But the town is still relatively safe.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, I'm going to follow Hortense.
All right. Cool. What
All right.
about Giel and Omen is going as well. Audacity, you're going too. And Giel, you're going at a distance from the foliage.
Yeah, Giel is gonna sort of like glance at the party a couple of times, but sort of slip off, not towards the town, heading towards one of the copses of trees that doesn't look like it's part of a farm.
Okay. Sure. Fair enough. Yeah, there's a couple of little groups of trees around along the road, etc. So you can find a tree. No problem. So I'm going to say that you guys get to the town and your tree with no incident. So now you are faced with a fairly charming little fantasy town. The buildings are wood and stone with thatched roofs. You can see a sign that says "In Common Inn." Yeah, there are people around. They're figuring stuff out. They don't look very panicked, I guess. But if you want anything more specific than that, you're going to have to talk to somebody and/or roll an insight.
Yeah, I'd like to do the classic speak to the first person I see in the town, of which I'm sure you have a name for, and
and of whom has an extensive and detailed backstory.
Yes.
I just kind of keep an eye on where Giel ended up and hang back from the exuberant two, but like keeping an eye on them.
Okay, so when you go into this town, the first thing that you'll notice about the people is that it's primarily a human town. There are other people. There's elves, and you reckon there's probably person's probably a dwarf just by their beard. But it's primarily humans or humanoids. So there's no like centaurs or anything as far as you can see at this point. So you're just gonna go up to a random villager?
yeah.
Alright, sweet. You go up to a random villager. They are dressed in blue and green and have brown hair and brown eyes.
Okay. Hey, my name's Julian. I just arrived at this town, and I really wasn't sure what to expect. But I've kind of come from the other side of the fog. Does this happen very often? Has anyone in this town ever met someone who's come from the other side of the fog before?
This person pauses and they look at you and they're like, "Oh, you're from the fog? Oh, people come through every couple of years or so, but half the time they don't stay very long. They're always off on some sort of adventure or got some secret or what have you. But you have to tell us what's on the other side. We haven't heard all the new news."
Well, there's just been a volcano eruption.
Oh yes, we've noticed, and they
yeah.
sort of gesture at the volcano.
How did you fare? How did this town fare? It seems like it's all right, but is everyone okay?
We had some shaking, and there's a couple of holes in a few roofs, and he makes a gesture over to the inn, where there's a couple of really big, significant holes in the thatched roof. Nothing that can't be fixed. It's just a matter of getting our bearings and getting on to do it,
Fair enough. Well, thanks for the information then. Do you is the inn still in operation? I guess I can find out myself, but I'm assuming you just kind of know, which probably isn't fair on you. But
Well, Oh, well, I haven't spoken to the innkeeper, but she's still in there, so I assume so.
Sorry, just out of game and talking to DM. Where is Hortense now that I've spoken, and where am I in comparison to everyone else, basically, right now?
Well, Omen is about 10 or so feet behind you, and Hortense, you're going to have, Edvig, you're going to have to explain where Hortense is. But so Omen is a little bit behind you, and then I believe Audacity is a bit behind him, and then Giel is in a tree outside somewhere.
Hortense is hanging back and watching you have this conversation. She's trying to get a vibe for the town. Like, she's lived in a bunch of different places, so I think she's trying to like maybe place the architecture and be like, oh, that's a mid-century colonial design or whatever, and try and like figure out if like any of this makes sense. So she's hanging out near you, but she's not paying attention to what you're doing. She's off in her own head.
Yeah, fair enough. How long has this town been here? Just out of curiosity.
No, I think it's been here about 100 years, actually. The mayor would know exactly. He's got all the paperwork, but at least 2 generations, maybe 3.
Oh, I call out to Omen again, actually, and say, hey, there's some documentation on how long this town's here and when it was built and stuff like that. That sounds kind of interesting.
Perhaps we should pay them a visit.
Can I cut in this conversation and to be a cliche in a different way, I want to ask if there's a library in this town that I can visit.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to ask permission to say something, just say it.
Okay. Is there a library or a public place of records that we can access?
Oh, I mean, the government building's pretty public, but no, we don't really have a library.
What's your population like? Like in terms of numbers?
He sort of looks around as if he's trying to count, and he's like, I guess there's a couple of 100 people here.
Okay. All right, just like as Carolina, not as Hortense. I'm trying to like, the reason why I asked if there was a library is because I can be an indicator of like the population and stuff, because like weird, or not weird, but possibly weird little town that you come out of the other end of the fog, my brain goes cult. Maybe. So I was also kind of checking to see if they were possibly inbred, but couple of 100. That's I never took genetics, but that seems enough that like you're not marrying your first cousin at least.
Apparently approximately 200, I did research on this for a story recently. The critical mass is somewhere between 200 and 300 people in general to avoid that sort of thing.
Okay, so they're probably not like all Habsburging themselves.
I mean, you've got to assume that enough randy adventurers come out of the fog to just add some genetic diversity.
And if they've got commerce, as you said, then they don't have to get everything from the one location.
Yeah. Can I also I also want to ask if like this is the only town on the other side of the fog, or if there are other towns that they trade with and interact with.
The villager is going to tilt his head to the side and look a bit confused. It's like, of course there are other towns. Have you only got one town on the other side?
Yeah, but it's a really big one.
Oh.
Okay, well, what is your town called? I probably should have led with that. And also, hi, my name is Hortense. What's your name?
My name is Steve.
Hey, Steve.
This is the town of Boblin.
That's adorable. Is that last name Carlsberg?
He's confused.
Sorry. That is, I've been re-listening to a lot of Welcome to Night Vale, and so it's on the brain. Okay, so it's Boblin. What is the next nearest town?
The next nearest town. I mean, you'd have to
Is
look
it
at a map.
is it called Boblin?
No, I think probably. I would have said Kipley, but I think the volcano probably wrecked some of the bridges. So I think we've had reports of the bridges being broken.
All right. Follow-up question, and thank you so much for answering me and my friends' questions. I know you probably got a really busy day, but you know we're explorers, and I just love learning about new places. The fog.
Mm,
Do you know what's up with that?
no idea.
Huh. Do you ever have it where anyone you know, have they ever gone into the fog and mysteriously never come back?
Oh no, you can't get through.
We came through from the other side, though.
Oh yeah, that happens, but it doesn't seem like we can go that way.
Ah, okay. These other towns that you were speaking about, are they all within like walking distance or like horse distance, or like how far out do they go from here?
I think you could probably get to Valak in maybe a day or two's hike. Or Kipley, when the bridges are intact, you could get there in a day by foot.
Do you know of any towns or anything that would be 2 weeks away by foot or by horse?
Oh yeah, there are plenty of places ages away.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
Like, I'd try and find a map if I was you, if you were that interested.
I mean, I am interested because from my perspective, it was fog all the way down.
Well, it certainly is as far as the eye can see in that direction, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, sorry, I've hijacked this conversation.
no, it's okay. It's okay. I say in character.
I also said that in character. Hortense does that a lot. She's like me in that sense.
How long have this might seem like a weird question, but how long have you lived here for?
Oh, I was born here.
Okay. Okay, just out once again, out of character. I'm trying to gather if there's some weird time thing going on here where basically they've been living the same lives for, I don't know, like 100 years or something like that.
I think you're going to have to do a little bit more than.
Yeah, but I don't really want to ask their age, so.
I will. Hortense is rude.
Okay.
So while this is going on, Audacity is kind of scanning around for anyone looking at us like we're a threatening bunch of weirdos or any guards.
So there aren't really any security people as far as you can see, at least not any that are in any kind of uniform. But, you know, a few villagers are giving, in particular, Omen and Audacity a bit of a look. Because of the four of you, Omen and Audacity are the most unusual in this particular town. Whereas Hortense and Julian are an elf and a human, so you fit in.
Audacity's got the cloak over her wings, by the way. That's just kind of default. I am being slightly subtle.
Okay, one final question from me. Does anyone ever arrive by ship here?
Well, not here. We're an inland town.
Sorry, but because I mean this is an island and everything. Is there ever any word of ships coming in from across the sea or anything like that?
Well, there is a couple of different port towns. Probably the closest port town would be Emil. That's up in the north.
There is. Okay. I thank Steve very much and offer them a gold coin and say, I know this doesn't seem like a lot, but I swear it is.
It's literally all the money I have, and I'm giving it to you, a random person.
He'll accept the coin, and he just has this big grin on his face. It's like, wow, thank you so much.
Out of character note, gold coins are actually pretty big. Despite what higher level D&D teaches us, to a normal person, that's a lot of money.
Can I roll to?
Yeah, I know, but
Can I roll to see if that
You know
gratitude
Julian
was
doesn't.
sincere or sarcastic?
Look, I'm only working with gold pieces rather than splitting it into silvers and coppers and what have you because I get confused otherwise. So it's just
Fair.
gold. It's just one currency.
And
one
money.
one whole currency, one
Yes.
goat token.
Yes, one goat token. Oh dear. Well, no, Steve is looks very, very pleased to be having been given coin, and he's gonna give a nod and go about his way.
I turn to Hortense and say we should probably meet back up with Audacity and Giel to try and decide what we want to do and maybe relay the small amount of information that we've currently learned.
Well, they're only standing a couple, 10, 20 feet behind you, so it's quite easy to turn around and close that distance.
I would like to turn around, close that distance, and repeat everything we've just learned, word for word.
Splendid. Omen is going to nod, and even though you cannot see his expression, he seems to be very curious and ponderous.
Curious and ponderous seem to be Omen's default state.
More or less, yeah.
And Audacity's just standing there, one hand on a sword hilt, watching people vaguely suspiciously.
Fair enough. So Omen will look at the others.
If a bunch of us are staying together, then do we want to go find the fishy guy that came in with us? He seems to be hiding in those trees over there. I don't think he's 100% up on the whole group experience, but if we're sticking together, it might be better.
He's not picking up what we're putting down, necessarily.
It would be a shame for things to befall him. If they were him. Speaking of, Giel. Are you in that tree still? What are you doing? Because I think we're going looking for you now.
Yes, so I have some information now, and I think I'm just trying to work out timelines in my head, given what I now know, and how that's going to work. So, ODM, do we hand wave the timeline nonsense for the sake of this and just have me be back in the tree? Or do they not find me?
Roll a stealth.
I have a +5 to perception, so I'd like to try.
Oh, I'm just pointing out that because of a conversation I just had, Giel was for a period of time no longer in the tree area. So let me, and potentially would have had. Excuse you, why are you opening in the? Oh, because my cat is on the keyboard. Okay. Robert Lynn when it's being formal. Dells. Cat, stop changing my keyboard. That's the wrong input. Last. What is my stealth score? That many.
Wrong
And-
robot.
Wrong robot?
Yeah. Just exclamation and then the,
Oh, right.
the dice. Yeah. So you don't have to put the word roll in there.
There we go.
You go. 17. Okay. I'm gonna say that you have gone and done your exploration and then come back.
Yep. Okay, cool. The fact that you made me roll a stealth check for that is unsettling. So,
Yeah. All right. Where are we? What are we doing?
yeah.
Can I roll a perception check to
Sure.
try and find Giel?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, it
Okay.
probably makes sense.
Audacity's just kind of walking over to the trees that she saw Giel go into.
I got a 20.
Nice.
Dirty 20, but still a 20.
Nice.
20 is still a 20.
Yep. You're able to spot them.
Yeah. So yes, Gil is going to be sort of tucked but not necessarily hidden up in the tops of one of the trees that's a little way in from the entrance to the area. I believe you still have its backpack, so doesn't have anything with it, just sort of sitting curled up in the top of the tree on one of the branches, watching the path, but and you as you come down the path, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've spotted Giel, but I also Hortense has had times in her life where she has also hidden in trees, and I'm a bro, so I'm not gonna give him away for the sake of giving him away. So I'm kind of just like gonna hang out nonchalantly at the end at the bottom of the tree that they're in, or like one next to, and just wait, just chill.
Okay.
Is Giel in the same tree that Audacity saw them go up?
No, could you see me which tree it was, given that was a little way in to the... I've said tucked but not hidden, so I'm going to assume that it's not, like, super difficult if you're actually looking for it to find it, but that Hortense probably spots it first. I don't know, does that sound reasonable to the people who are actually supposed to be making these decisions?
Yep. Meets it beats it anyway, so you're good.
I just did a perception. It was 17. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as the group gets over to those trees, I think Julian, do you want to roll a perception as well?
Yeah, might as well.
Oops. Childcare keycard still in my pocket. I should roll one for Omen too, shouldn't I? He is technically here.
This is why I took proficiency in perception despite having a negative modifier.
Okay. All right. So, Hortense, Audacity, and Julian, you, as you approach this little gathering of trees, you spot Giel up in that tree that it's hiding in at the moment. Omen, it takes him a little longer to spot him because he's not 100% sure what he's looking for, because he did not realize that Giel had gone up a tree. So yes, you have now seen the funky little fish dude in a tree. What next?
Audacity just kind of looks up at him and like, "Hey, my fishy friend, having fun up there?"
Gil is going to shrug a little sulkily and keep watching everyone down at the bottom of the... Would you stop it with the threads? There we go. This... Hold on, I'm gonna get into character.
Sitting like a gremlin.
The, How's the village?
Oh, looks like it's mostly human, so a little bit boring, but doesn't seem to be too threatening. Didn't see any guards, which is a nice change.
Did they say anything about the fog?
Apparently it's, one way. People come out, they can't go back in. Just kind of can't go through.
The ears kind of tilt down a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, it turns out they're right about that,
Oh, you tried going through the fog through this end, and the fog was like, nah, mate, we're good.
Just kind of turns you around and puts you back where you started.
Okay, well, at least all the people who came through previously aren't dead. They just have a new permanent home.
Yeah.
I mean, checking on it yourself would be a good idea, so.
I don't know if we should necessarily make the effort right now, but it might be worthwhile, probably should ask actually first before we start, doing industrial digging or whatever. Or, fashioning together some sort of rudimentary hot air balloon.
I mean, if it was as simple as flying, then that wouldn't be a problem.
Oh yeah, you can fly. I forgot somehow. You're wearing a jacket and I don't have object permanence.
At this point, I will note that I don't think any of you have seen the wings, other than Omen.
Mm.
That they're a slightly odd shape under the cloak.
Yeah, I didn't hide them in the artwork that I did because A, they look cool, and B, I didn't realize you were hiding them.
Well, Giel, I've got an idea actually. I mean, you can't really do anything with this right now, but there are means to become gaseous. You could
Giel is-
potentially go to the other.
Yes, there are means to become gaseous. Yes, there are. However, I think those
Hortense,
are a bit behind your level at the moment. I'm gonna say.
Hortense has much the same problem if she has too much lactose.
I think at that, Giel is gonna look down at Julian and sort of just. It doesn't blink, so the stare is very blank and the eyes are very wide, and halfway through, a transparent membrane flicks across and back across its eyes, during which it continues staring at you.
Look, I'm an old lady. I'm done being ashamed of my body and my lactose intolerance, which is now something I suppose I should add to my character sheet. Would that be a flaw or a personality trait?
Either or, as you like.
Area of
Lactose.
effect attack?
Vulnerability to lactose.
Vulnerability.
Oh dear.
Hey, wait until episode 480, and then my lactose intolerance will be deeply important. We'll all be happy we had this pointless conversation now.
Oh dear. Okay, so Omen is going to look up at Giel. You found no way back?
Not like I looked for very long, but
I'm sorry you got caught up in this.
as far as I can see, it wasn't really your fault. It was kind of mine, but we're here now, I guess.
This is true. You are welcome to travel with us if you would like.
Gil's gonna kind of sigh and put its head down on its arms for a moment, then sort of shuffle round and drop out of the tree in front of everyone. Yeah, well, There's not much in the way of water around here, so I might as well, see if they've at least got a well. I'm going to need some water soon.
How does, just out of character, is there anything about the fish race and water and a need to have it? Like, just for my information.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So also feel free to ask this in character. I feel that would be a fun conversation. But yes, out of character, yes, Giel does need water. Does not need, to be submerged, does not need a body of water, but needs to have access to water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have given the GM a rather extensive list of horrible consequences.
Uh-huh.
I would like to look through my I believe I have an explorer's pack and a herbalism kit to see if I have any like water or anything that can keep Gill fresh.
Sure. Now I'm just looking back over our rolls before. So Giel, you did roll at that 18 with that perception as we were coming down the slope towards the town. You did notice a well in the town.
Oh yeah. Yes, this is right. I remembered this after I had said it, so
yeah. So it is absolutely possible to go into the town and get some water from there without having to having to do anything too complicated.
Yeah. How dare.
I was going to ask the inn if they have any baths or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I carry a water skin, so. Orestes just kind of looks down at Giel and is like, "All right, my little fishy friend, who's I don't think we've done any of the introductions yet, but I'm just gonna lay the logic that you got the bunch of weirdos from your side of the fog, and the random weirdos from this side of the fog. Seems a little safer to be spending time with the weirdos from your side of the fog."
You'll, yeah, it's Giel, by the way. Not sure I got everybody else's name either.
Technically, nobody knows anyone's names at this point, except for Audacity and Omen.
I think Hortense has introduced herself in earshot a couple of times.
Oh yes, every man and their dog knows Hortense's name.
Well,
I think it's well, like, because I was already a shopkeeper in the town, even if you didn't necessarily know my name, you were like, "Oh, it's the lady with the health potions and the tea," you know?
Yeah. Hello, cat.
At that point, yeah, I'll introduce myself. Hi, my name's Julian. Just Julian, really. Don't really have a last name, but
Okay, I don't have one either.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
I am the same.
I do have a last name, but it just hasn't come up. It's Rufflewort, by the way.
Oh,
that's fancy.
Thank you. The person who's playing me really likes putting wort in last names. It's a startling level of self-awareness there.
You know, having a last name can be a little bit overrated. Just gives them more detail to put onto the wanted poster.
Well, it's not a real name. It's just my name right now.
I mean, I can respect that.
I'm very old. Like, I'm an elderly elf. Imagine having the same name for 400 plus years. Terribly boring.
Yeah, I gotta say, making it to be elderly and full elven, like you're full blood elven, that's quite an achievement to just live that long. Especially with the way that you just kind of walk straight into situations. I'd have thought you'd have gotten stabbed in the head by now.
I'm very good at walking out of them again.
Useful skill.
And also, I've found that when you're a little old lady, people feel weird about stabbing you in the head.
You know, come to think of it, I would feel a bit weird about stabbing you in the face.
You feel like an asshole when you do it, even if it's completely justified. I've gotten out of a lot of things by putting on the I thought this was the pharmacy, dearie. I don't know where I am.
You know, I've got to say, you're making a good point there. I'm pretty sure that if I were working a trade and I had my choice between a rich businessman looking like an asshole and little old lady with pointy ears, I'd probably be splitting my loot with a little old lady.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. And I
This is-
reach out and I very gently pat. Wait, what's the height difference?
Significant.
I reach out and I tap and I gently pat Audacity on the part of the body I can reach that doesn't make me weird.
Like the arm or something.
There's a height comparison on the Art and Stuff channel.
Yes.
So, you know, you can do shoulder.
Yeah, I think I can just about reach shoulder.
Mm.
And then I pass Giel my water bottle. Just in case they would like it.
Giel is gonna nod and tip out a little bit, take off its scarf, tip out a little onto the scarf, squeeze it through, and then wrap itself back up.
They are damp now.
Damp and happy. Well, for a given value of happy.
Damp and Happy would be a great album title for an indie band.
Just out of curiosity, how much of the water do you need to get on your neck?
Not too much. It's more about the humidity than the water itself. I just need to not get dry.
Wow. Guess we should keep that in mind. And at this point, I hand Giel's pack back to them.
Oh, thanks. It's gonna put the backpack back on a little awkwardly and sort of follow everybody.
Mm-hmm. Great. So are we heading back to town?
I would say so. Oh yeah, as we're heading back to town, or if we are heading back to town, I would like to ask if people, my suggestion, what people would like to do, and I'll just say it. My suggestion would, if we want to investigate the town, would be to either go to the inn or to go to the manor.
I reckon we should do both, but I reckon we should go to the inn first, just so we can get like a vibe on like the mayor and everything, because we don't want to rock up and be like, "Hello, we're out of towners and we want to know absolutely everything about your town," in case he's like paranoid as hell.
I mean, well, what are we trying to investigate anyway? Just first place we find out of the fog, and we need to do a deep dive on the town?
Well, I think we'd want to get a map, at least. Like, I don't know if we want to get as deep down as like, information on literally every mayor and civic leader who's ever existed in this town. But I think a general map and like where we can get supplies and any information they have on the fog would be useful.
I mean, at that point, why are we not just trying to find the market? Most towns this size will have one.
Yeah, but ideally at the inn I can get a drink.
I'm genuinely interested in finding out how this how this town came to be.
I mean, we're here. We can't get through the fog at any. Excuse me. We can't get through the fog at the moment anyway, so we may as well go have a drink and have a chat.
I'd like to have a scout through the marketplace if we can find one on the way to the inn, but
Yeah, that works for me.
nothing against a little alcohol.
Look, we've all had a long day. And an earthquake.
A long morning.
We've endured an earthquake. I think we all deserve a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Sure.
Were you rolling a random encounter? We getting robbed on the way?
No. That was irrelevant to your current position and conversation. Just for my own interest.
Okay, so you're just making me nervous for no reason.
Keeping you guessing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
so you start meandering through the town, and just like before, your group is getting looks, and without a doubt, it is because of Omen, Audacity, and Giel, because you're weird looking. But
As we walk through the town, Audacity will be looking out for any marks in thief sign.
oh, okay, sure. Do a investigation or a perception.
This was, of course, the most convenient spot for her to be.
Very cat.
Okay.
16?
Sorry.
Okay, cool.
Are we all rolling?
You can if you want.
I'm
What do we?
looking
Sorry.
for the written form of Thieves' Cant, so, you know,
Oh, okay.
unless you know Thieves' Cant.
Sorry, I zoned out for half a second.
Yeah.
No, I know Druidic, Elvish, and Infernal. So nope,
think-
not Thieves' Cant.
I think Giel technically has the ability to know thieves can't, but I've decided to strike it off the list because of backstory reasons, so...
That's fair.
Yeah, I always thought that it should be a background thing and not a class thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway. Okay, so with the 16, you can't see any permanent marks or anything like that. There are a few hastily drawn marks on the eaves of the inn that you notice as you get close. But
Fine.
and it just says don't forget.
Give that little tidbit for myself.
But you move through the town, and there is a little market that kind of doesn't quite surround the inn. The inn's like off to one side of this little market, but it's even more small and quaint than the Hopetown market. So you've got a baker, and you've got a butcher, and you've got your herbalist, and there's a tailor, and all the normal stuff. But there's only like one of everything rather than 3 or 4 of the everything and then some.
Audacity just starts, looking through the market, trying to find if there's any interesting looking stalls, places with weaponry, places with trinkets.
Well, there's a blacksmith. But like with a cursory glance, they only have your basic gear.
What about trinkets?
What kind of trinkets are you after?
I'm just trying to look for anything that would remotely resemble a shop that would be interesting to Julian's main ridiculous interest.
Also, anywhere that looks like it's selling maps.
No. So there's no cartography shop, and there's no anything particularly. Like there's a furniture shop, and there's what looks like it could be a second-hand shop, but no, not really.
Julian kind of just gets excited because he gets excited whenever he sees a marketplace, just for that reason, because he asks around a lot, but then thinks better of it and moves on with the group.
Mm-hmm.
Anything interesting at the second-hand shop? Those are addictive.
They are. No, it's mostly there's old clothes and there's a chest of drawers and a bookcase.
Is there anybody rich-looking wandering the marketplace?
Nope. All peasantry.
Oh no, never mind. It's fine. Actually, no. Giel is going to do this. Giel is going to reach into its pocket and pull out a couple of little trinkets, like what looks to be an ivory wax seal with someone's crest on it, and a little box of things, and take them into the second-hand store and sort of attempt to not look too I just stole this off somebody, but obviously sort of I don't know exactly how to phrase this, awkward, sort of move up to the counter and put them on the top and say, do you happen to buy as well as sell things, or it's
The person behind the counter is gonna look down at you and then look at the items, and they'll look over the seal and look at it very carefully. It's like, okay, and then look at the little box and open it up and look inside and look at the hinges and everything. And I could probably buy these from you. I've never seen this crest before. It must have been an abandoned family or something that doesn't exist anymore.
It's from across the fog. Would Giel actually know the family, given Giel's history knowledge? Can I make a roll for that?
Yeah, roll history.
Yes, I am in the right channel. Lost. Hey!
Dirty 20.
It's dirty,
absolutely.
but it's a 20.
Yeah, alright, cool. So, yeah, no, you would absolutely know that this is a crest from the head family at Hoity-Toityburg.
They were they're from the other side of the fog. We just arrived in today. They're actually a big shipping family. They inventors of boats. One of the cousins of the family developed the sails that it's they're from over the fog, and that's probably why you don't recognize them.
Do you want to roll an insight?
Audacity is just watching this exchange from like 2 tables over, where she's looking over random crap.
Okay, yep. Giel is not insightful in this circumstance.
Apparently not. Okay, yeah. The person with a 6, I can give you that they look pretty pleased. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I could give you for the seal and for the box. I could give you 5 gold pieces.
Giel is just gonna nod. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
And they're gonna
push them across the table and
take those and put them under the table and take a little chest out, count out some coins, and have an additional 5 gold points.
Thank you.
With this information that Giel has gotten 5 gold coins for both of these things, Julian possibly gave away quite a lot of money.
Yeah, at this point, Julian, because he's been observing this, and he was thinking about whether or not there's anything that he can possibly try and palm off to this secondhand shop. And he's rummaging through his backpack.
This is the call to adventure. It's like, no, we're gonna pawn shit.
Let's spend 45 minutes in the pawn shop.
We haven't even been looting yet.
Giel came to the market this morning with one job.
Splendid.
Yeah,
Hortense,
they have got nothing else out of today, but it interacted with a shopkeeper in exchange for trinkets.
No, I think I'm good for now.
Yeah, Hortense is also good. She tends to carry around whatever she needs, and whatever she doesn't need, nature provides. So she's good.
Splendid. Okay, cool. Anyone else doing anything?
I can't think of any other needless. I can't think of any other, not needless, but but any admin we could possibly do. So maybe we should, accept the call to adventure.
Okay.
Has everyone submitted their taxes?
Oh dear, okay.
Did you say that out loud as Hortense?
Pardon?
Did you say that out loud as Hortense?
No, that was just me.
Okay.
Hortense doesn't pay taxes.
No, of course she doesn't.
Oh dear. All right. So we're going to the inn.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So you head into the inn. It is a 2-story building, and you come into the first floor, and there's sort of like a counter directly opposite the door, and there's a lady standing behind it. And then to the left, you can see there's like a little dining room and a small kitchen, and there's some tables and stuff. And on her right, there is a set of stairs.
Any customers?
Oh, yeah, there's people milling about in the dining room.
No worries.
Audacity is kind of hanging at the back of the group and keeping an eye on the rest of them.
Fair enough.
Julian actually just verbally exclaims in front of everyone, "Oh, I just remembered something," and runs out of the inn.
Okay.
Informative.
Oh dear.
I'll let you finish off first.
Okay, well, I was going to say that the lady behind the desk looks up as you all come in, and then run out again, I guess. And she does tilt her head to one side a bit quizzically at that, but then offers you a very professional customer service smile. Welcome to my inn. Were you looking for a place to stay, or perhaps a hot meal?
Hello, Agent Lockley speaking. This is the Phillip office. Can I help you?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hortense goes up and orders a G&T and a anything they got that's vegetarian.
Okay. Sure. So the innkeeper nods. Okay, well, we can definitely provide you with drink. It's a little early in the morning, but you know, as you like.
It's been a day.
Well, I suppose
been a
so.
day.
There are quite a few people drinking already, what with the volcano and everything. Alright, so it'll be 1 gold piece for the drink, and these are our vegetarian options. They're 1 gold piece each.
Okay. What are the vegetarian options?
There is a chickpea curry. There is
Oh, yeah?
a salad. There is a different salad.
Oh, I heard Vlad, and I was like, "What is a Vlad?"
That's what
I'm
I
gonna-
heard as well, and I was like, oh, we're getting into like fantasy cuisines and things. Is this a reference I don't get?
It's made out of vampires. I would like to get a
Soviet
G&T
Russia. You
and
fight
the
vampire.
and the chickpea curry, and I
Alright.
just dig in. It is also like my first meal of the day as well. Like I had a cup of coffee earlier, but then this is actually my first like proper meal.
Yeah, okay, so please take note that you are parting from 2 gold pieces then for your drink and your curry. And the innkeeper is going to write that down and say, feel free to take a seat, we'll bring it out. And then she looked at everyone else like, is anyone else having anything?
Oh, I'm afraid it's a bit more than I was going to spend.
I'm afraid I can't go any lower than that.
If you like, I'm happy to split my my curry with you if you're hungry. I'm not splitting the G&T. I think that's too hard to split.
No, thanks. I'll just keep an eye
Just
on
for
them.
context, is this 2 gold pieces because you were just working gold pieces and that's what everything will be everywhere, or is this? Yeah, okay. Sorry.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just determining whether in character is this an expensive meal or in character is this normal and accepted, just because of
normal and
this
accepted.
setting.
Yeah, normal and accepted.
Just kind of screws with the starting money.
Don't worry, I won't stay that long for long.
Also, I'm hand waving and saying I was a businesswoman before this, so I have slightly more than the starting money. If Shannon will let me get away with that bullshit.
For actually purchasing things from the shops and stuff that you encounter, I am gonna make you use the actual gold that you have, rather than nebulous narrative money.
Presumably, you
That's
left
my favorite kind of money.
So the only money we're using is gold?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm just gonna work some things out.
I feel like it's hard adventuring on an empty tummy. So Hortense is getting the opportunity to get a good drink and a good feed in when she can.
Julian, what are you up to?
I'm going back to the cartographer.
There wasn't one.
I thought you said there was a cartographer.
No, I said there wasn't.
Oh. Bugger.
You're just wandering around being like, where are the maps? Just walking up to random people in the street being like, where is the photographer? Tell me.
Where are the other maps?
Alright, I'll make this, just for the sake of doing something, I will go to the secondhand store and ask the shopkeeper if they have any maps of the region.
No, people don't normally get rid of maps, although if anyone was going to have any to sell, it'd probably be Anna over at the inn, or the mayor would have some. I don't know if he'd give them to you, though.
Right, of course. Alright, I sprint back then, and I'm going to say that I'm probably a little bit out of breath when I get back at the inn.
Alright, sounds good. Okay, Audacity's not getting anything. Hortense is having a G&T and a chickpea curry. Giel, are you buying anything?
Yeah, Giel might get something to eat. Probably is going to go with the option that it knows is safe and get the same chickpea curry.
Okay, no worries. You now have to part with 1 gold piece.
Yep, that's okay. I just got 5.
Okay, sweet. You also get a chickpea curry, and it is delivered to you in short order. Omen is not getting anything, so he will just sort of sit down at the table with you.
I was going to ask about Omen as well. How come Omen has hands but no arms?
In the words of a very dear friend of mine, peck and magical bullshit, that's why.
Oh, okay.
I choose to believe that they have pasta under the cloak. In a very old reference.
Is Omen also particularly fond of pirates?
I don't know, you'd have to ask him. Though I'm not sure it's necessarily relevant to the conversation at the moment. Okay, so we're all sitting down. Audacity and Omen haven't gotten anything. Giel and Hortense have both gotten chickpea curries, and Hortense is hitting the G&T. And then Julian comes back into the inn a little bit puffed.
Audacity just kind of fetches a piece of jerky out of the rations in her bag.
Sure.
Is that gnawing on it?
I run straight up to the counter and ask if they have any maps available here.
Oh, yeah, I think I might have a map. And she sort of ducks down behind her little counter there, and you can hear this rustle, 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 rustle. And then she comes back up, and she's got this this scroll. She goes, "Yeah, yes, it's my last one. But you're welcome to buy it from me if you wanted to take it with you."
Yeah, I would love that actually. How much would you be willing to part for it for?
Because it's my last one and I have to get them in, 5 gold pieces for the map.
Oof. Julian doesn't say oof. He probably just says yes, thank you, and takes it.
Internally, there's oof.
Fair enough.
Can you grab my chocolate at the fridge?
Okay, great. So you are given a map. I have, as of yet, not drawn you a map, but I will endeavour to do so before next session. But you now have a map. Would you like to investigate your map?
Yes, I would actually. I'll roll in. Do you want me to roll investigate for that?
Yes, please do.
Let me just double check that.
Lena, whatever you're doing, it's coming through your mic. Yeah, thank you. Okay, 10. So I'm gonna say with a 10, you're not super experienced in reading maps. But the thing that jumps out at you the most is this is not an island.
It's a peninsula.
Well, yeah. As far as you can tell, provided that Hopetown was on the same land mass, it was a peninsula onto what looks like actually a fairly large continent.
As in bigger than the fog cloud on the other side?
No, smaller then.
Speaking of the fog cloud, actually, is that detailed on the map?
Yep. It's a wiggly ball.
I know you haven't written the map yet, but okay, interesting. So, oh wow! I exclaim, and then basically I place the map in front of everyone sitting on the table. I just kind of straight down. Look how big this place is, apparently.
So it looks like it should fit inside the fog cloud that we saw on maps of the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Does Audacity notice anything looking over the map?
Roll me an investigation. That is also
Right
a 10.
in the middle.
Okay.
That's a map.
That it is in fact a map, and yeah. So while the fog bank was typically on the other side, called the Forgotten Isles, people were assuming it was more islands because Hopetown was, you know, surrounded by a bunch of islands. So surely the rest of it would be an archipelago. If you're on the same plane, likely not. No, this is a continent. It's got, you know, you can see marked. You can see where Boblin is, where you are, and there's coast, there's rivers, there's lakes, there's mountains, there's the volcano smack bang in the middle of this particular continent. Yeah, it's big. Anyone gonna say anything, or just look at the map awkwardly?
No, I'm just trying to think of what to say next. Sorry.
I mean, it's a pretty big continent. How did it makes me wonder if the fog bank was created intentionally to keep this fog bank, so either keeping one side safe from the other. Like, where we came from on the other side of the fog bank, was it generally a reasonably happy place? Like, not necessarily just the island, but like the world on our side of the fog bank. Was it pretty good, or was it in turmoil?
Oh no, it wasn't in any particular turmoil. Like, it wasn't in wars or anything, like any more than any normal generic fantasy setting.
Actually, I would like to ask on this map, the other side of the fog from where we entered, where we thought this was actually a series of islands, is that also detailed on the map?
So you mean the side that you're from?
Yes.
No, the side that you are from is not on this map. The edges of the map has the fog bank, and there's nothing on the other side.
Okay, so it looks like I mean, people have been around here long enough to, well, they've more or less explored an entire continent. So this whole place is just hidden from the outside world.
I guess Go.
I'm starting to think that maybe we shouldn't consider this sort of the world inside the fog so much as there's just two worlds and a fog between them. I think this place has been around just as long as our side of the fog has, and it's the fog that's the bit that's new.
I mean, as far as I remember, the fog's meant to have been there for as long as anybody can remember. So the fact that you can get in but you can't get out makes me kind of feel like it's designed to keep something in. And whether all of that mystical nonsense with the cards was saying that we're the ones who finally solved whatever it is that this fog's keeping in, or whether we're just stuck here and the cards have us doing something else.
I mean, there is a volcano on this side of the fog, but also like presumably there's also volcanoes on our side of the fog, because it's not like we didn't know what a volcano was when there was an earthquake. And also, like, if you built a giant fog wall to keep a volcano contained, why would you then make the fog wall one way? I get this weird feeling that it's like maybe like a initially like a prison situation or something. So like
Thinking, who knows what the
they
gods put in here.
that they shunned like way back when someone created this fog bank and just shunted a bunch of prisoners through, so you can go one way but you can't go back out the other way. But it was so long ago that it's no longer relevant in either society, and now it's just this mysterious fog bank.
I mean, it depends on what the prisoner was. If it's the gods that set this thing up, then might be that it's still alive. Also, we do know that things can get out from the fog, given the all the stuff coming out of the volcano that landed on Hope Town. Something got out of the fog.
Well, maybe anything with a pulse can't get through the fog.
That would also
because those are all
exclude
inanimate
undead.
objects.
True, it was all ash and grit and rocks that came over the fog from the volcano.
It's not like a bird fell through or something.
No.
But you'd have thought that somebody who'd come through before would have worked out how to tie a note to a rock and throw it back through.
Not if they don't care.
Pretty sure some of the people who went through were doing it to try and find out what was going on with the fog. So at least some of the people cared. I mean, I'm sure some of the people who went through were just trying to not be around anymore.
Well, I mean, what's happened on our side of the fog was that the mysterious fog, people tried to go through. People tried lots of different ways to go through and send messages and whatnot. And eventually, most people went, yeah, it's interesting and weird, but also, is it really worth the effort to dick around with it? You add enough time to any mystery, and it can become commonplace. Particularly when you've got bills to pay and kids to feed and dentist appointments to attend.
And it did feel like we were walking for quite some time when we walked through the fog bank. I don't know anyone who can throw that far.
You'd have to have an enormously powerful arm. And at that point, you're an enormously powerful armed person, so you can probably do better things through your time after a certain point.
Just get a crossbow.
It is a mystery.
What do we want to do next then?
That is the question. Now that we are here, are there any number of directions we can go?
I feel like we should go we should talk to the woman running the bar and ask if she has any further information, and if she can give us any information on the mayor, and then we go talk to the mayor or the city government people.
Sorts of gossip, so they are a good place to start.
I mean, at this point, I'm a little bit out of my depth, I'm going to admit, so I'm just going to make sure that the rest of you don't end up in a sticky situation and wait till we find out what's going on. I'm going to stick to my strengths, and my strengths is, well, taps the sword. So, I'll just follow your lead on what we need to be following in terms of leads. I got no clue.
I feel like I've talked quite a bit this session. Did someone else want to ask the innkeeper?
Yeah, all right, I'll ask. So yeah, I walk up to the innkeeper and ask, um, how, um, far out. Sorry, it's been a long day.
Yeah, no, take your time.
I walk up to the innkeeper and ask how long this town has been here for. See if I know I asked that question before, but she might, because this is it's an inn. Yeah, there's generally gossip and just generally more history available at an inn. So I'll ask her how long the town's been here for.
Mm-hmm. She'll smile at you when you come up to the desk. Like, oh, this town's been here for about 200 years or so. If I remember right, the inn was the first building to be put here, and well, then of course there was the temple after that. And it just sort of, people came through the area and then decided to stay. There's good farming in this area, so it's a nice place to be. It's quiet.
So the inn was the first building that was here. Was it basically just meant to be sort of like a pit stop between towns when it was placed here, or?
Oh, I imagine so. I bought it about 10 years ago.
Don't suppose there are any weird passageways that you want to tell me about that have been set into the inn?
If there's any secret passages, I wouldn't be going telling you about them, I'm afraid.
No, yeah, I can't imagine you would. Just thought I'd check. Sorry, Hortense, what did you want to, Caroline? What did you want to ask again?
Well, the second thing that she mentioned was about there was a temple. So, like, by this point, I sort of finished eating my chickpea curry, and I wander over, and I'm like, oh, hey, I heard you talking about about this town and this inn. You mentioned a temple. A temple to whom, may I ask?
Oh, it's a healer's temple. I don't really care for gods myself, but most towns in the area have one. If you're hurt or sick, you can go over, or sometimes the healer will come to you and they'll, do some sort of magic thing, and then you're, back at it, ready to go.
Oh, well, I'm a healer, a bit of a healer myself, so that sounds pretty interesting to me. Do you know? Oh well, I suppose you said you're not one yourself, so you probably wouldn't have that much knowledge. But so all of the towns in this area have the same sort of religious structure?
As far as I know.
Huh. Okay. And you said this town's been around for about 200 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know why it was initially founded, or who founded it?
I think it was more of a gradual process. Like I said, the inn was here first, and then the healers set up the temple nearby, and then people, came through and decided this was nice, and then built a house, and then built another house, and then built another house, and then built a market, and then built a wall. And now we're a town.
On a more personal note, the fog bank on the outside of town.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of anyone who's ever tried to go through it, or if there's any local legends around it?
Oh man, everyone's tried to go through it. It's like every kid has that thing, that period of time they're trying to be rebellious. I'm going to be the first one to get through and see what's on the other side. But no one ever does. It doesn't work that way.
Right. There's no rules about trying to get through or anything?
No, it seems to set its own rules. You can try, but it's not going to work. So why would we put guards or anything up there? It doesn't make sense.
What about
That's fair.
What about inanimate objects? I'm assuming people have tried to throw things, or
we've thrown rocks. There was a good one where we threw a candle that was lit, and we got to watch it, see how far we could get it to fly before it got snuffed out. That was always fun as kids. Lost a lot of candles. got in a lot of trouble. Very, very expensive thing to be doing.
Audacity wanders over at this point, since it seems to be a happening conversation. Can I ask what the crime situation's like here? Is it particularly dangerous? The roads around here?
Nah, it's usually pretty calm. I mean, I think I overheard the last time I was talking to the mayor. I think he was saying something about some sort of robbery in town, but that stuff doesn't normally happen. Like, it's not that common, at least not in this part of the world.
What's the mayor's name?
Ashlyn.
Ashlyn. And are they an agreeable sort of fellow? Like, would they appreciate some visitors, or not so much?
Oh yeah, you could go and see him. Like, it's within business hours, and seeing people is part of the job.
Okay. On another personal note, because I'm nosy. So the main industry of this area would be farming.
Yep. Yeah, we do wheat and oats and apples. Mostly.
Right.
You know, everyone's
And
got their own little garden.
you trade that with the nearby towns, yeah?
Yeah, for the most part. And we also, buy other supplies and stuff. The baker here is really good. She's been doing it for about 50 years. She's an expert.
This robbery, just out of curiosity, because if this doesn't happen, if robberies and just general crime is so infrequent around here, that must have raised quite a few eyebrows then for it to even happen at all.
Oh yeah, the mayor was really upset about it. Like, we've had a bit of a rough day, like with the volcano erupting, and then someone decided to, have a robbery in the middle of a disaster. Like, who does that? That's so rude.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was stolen?
Oh, I don't know. You'd have to ask.
I was going to ask, where did it occur, but
She just shrugs. I only heard it like off the cuff. It wasn't like I was talking to him specifically.
I think we need to talk to the mayor.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Audacity, what do you think?
I mean, it sounds like the mayor's going to be the one with the next bit of information. And it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the crime situation, because you never know what's going to happen.
Also, this whole fog thing, particularly with like the rebellious, this is out of character, by the way. I'm gonna be the first person to get through. Gave me like really big Stardust vibes for a second there.
Here's a reference I don't get.
I do catch that. I've seen that film, but I can't remember what
So it's a Neil Gaiman book and movie, and there's like a wall on the outside of town, and everyone tries to cross it, and the protagonist's character, who's played by Charlie Cox, who later goes on to play Daredevil, gets through the wall and to catch a falling star, basically, to get and give to this woman that he wants to propose to. And it's really good.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good. I remember it being fun.
Yeah. And it's got Henry Cavill in it as kind of like a soy boy character.
Okay. Sure. Okay, so where are we up to? What are we doing?
I was suggesting that we go visit the mayor.
Okay. Are you going to relay this to Omen and Giel, who are still over at the table?
Yes. That was next. Giel, what do you think?
Giel is gonna chuckle and say, I mean, I'm still thinking it's a good idea to go back and try the fog once more just in case I missed something, but the mayor seems like it's the sensible option.
And Omen?
It does seem like a direction that we can take. I'm sure he'll have lots of information.
I mean, I think we're down to that or asking the cards again, and cards have screwed up my day enough already.
I do not think I have the energy for another reading today, as it is.
Yeah, that was a bit dramatic.
Hmm.
The mayor's office.
Well, I can't imagine there are too many buildings in this town, so I guess we just go and find the most fancy one.
It's as good an idea as any you can ask. Also an option.
It'll probably be near the middle of town, and it'll be the most imposing or fancy building.
And if it's not, then we rob that one, then find out the different one.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, no harm done, right?
Oh dear.
Well,
I don't know if it's necessarily a great idea to commit a crime in a town we have literally just been told does not normally see crime, and we are the outsiders.
completely out of character, robbing the rich is a victimless crime.
100%.
Yep. Okay, cool. So Omen gonna get up from the bench he was sitting on around the table and nod. All right. Well, let us be off towards the mayor then and see what information we can uncover.
So I believe we proceed thusward.
All right, cool. Who would like to roll a survival for me? In fact, all of you probably should.
What was that?
Survival. All of you probably should.
I have a +3 to survival. I'm used to living in the woods. And now that I've said that, I'm gonna get a fucking 2 or something. I got 23.
No, you got a natural 20.
Yeah.
+3. So yeah, plus natural 20.
Nice.
I'm fucking killing it.
18, 23, 19, 5, 6.
Some of these things are not like the others. Okay, cool. So as you're looking around, we're not picking you up, Lee. I could see your mouth moving, but could not hear you.
You said some of these things are not like the other ones. I said some of these things are out of their depth.
Yes.
Needs
Yeah.
more depth.
Okay, so Audacity, Omen, and Hortense. You're looking around this town, and yeah, you can see the inn is probably the biggest building in this town. It's the central point where the town's spread out from, as far as the innkeeper was saying. There is another building that is quite big, but it's made of stone, which looks distinctly more temple-y. It's probably the temple. And then on the other side of town to that, after having a bit of a look around, you can see what looks like, at first glance, it kind of looks like a big manor house of some sort. But there are people going in and out of it, and it's quite bustling, actually. Giel and Julian, you don't know what you're looking at. You don't know what you're looking for. It just doesn't seem to click.
Those are some real nice buildings.
Yeah.
So we think we've identified the mayor's building, yes?
Mhm.
I would like to start walking towards it, but a little bit of character growth. I'd like to say, I think that's the mayor's office. I think we should go there before I just start walking off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Hortense, do you want to apply the nosy old lady energy that you seem to be rocking and get us through these crowds?
Sorry, nosy old me?
Just got that sort of vibe.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it's rude to say.
I kind of said something much ruder. I was saying it like it was a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, I just sort of walk through the crowd, and I use. I would like to roll. Oh.
If you're doing what I think you're doing, it's probably going to be a persuasion.
Yeah, so -1 the persuasion. I kind of want to do like an old lady thing of, oh, my bones, I'm so tired. Oh, and like, I this is me in real life. I reach out and I like put my arm on an Audacity's, and I like make a big deal out of being an old lady who needs help getting through this cloud. But unfortunately, I have -1 to both persuasion and performance, so I got a 3.
Okay, so you
So I'm laying it on way too thick.
way too thick. So people stop, they're looking at you. Okay, this old lady is obviously going to be that kind who's a pain in the ass to deal with. And okay, that's a very tall bodyguard she's got.
Yeah, Audacity's just kind of doing her best to look patient and supportive and not showing off the presumed side from Devil Blood that people tend to see in tieflings.
Do you want to roll a deception?
That'll go excellently. That went excellently.
That went excellently. That's an 18. Okay, great. Okay, so you have the hammiest ham that ever hammed, hanging off your arm, but you're cool as a cucumber. It's like it's just like that short story on Tumblr of the old lady who mistakes the devil for her grandson.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh dear. Okay, so with Hortense and Audacity putting on a scene at the front of the group, Omen and Julian and Giel are at the back. And you're moving towards the door, and it's got a pair of double doors, which you can push open and head through. And Omen is the tallest, and he doesn't knock his head on the top, so that's always nice. And inside, I can't hear you again.
Yeah. Sorry, I was making noises with things, so I muted myself so as not to be obnoxious. Giel is gonna tap Omen on where it presumes Omen's a relevant body part is under the cloak.
Yep.
I'm gonna indoors maybe. I'm gonna see if there's anything else around this area. Have a scout around. Seems to be like very nervy about going in the door, and is gonna suggest that it scouts around the building and sees if there's anything else, because there's the volcano and everything. So there's work groups and people milling about, and see if it can do a stealth and a listen and hear if there's any gossip going on.
Okay, no worries. Omen will sort of point his void face down at Giel and nod. Stay safe. Is all he says.
That's about the only thing I'm good at, it seems. And sort of heads off into the crowd.
Okay, cool. Julian, what about you? What are you up to?
I'm gonna follow along with Hortense and Audacity.
Okay, no worries. I think this is the third time we have split the party in this session, and it's only been an hour and 3/4. Oh dear. Okay, so for the majority of the group, you are moving through this building, yep, sure is a government department. There are people around, there are desks, and you can see a older gentleman sort of kind of half barking orders and saying this, that, and the other thing. It's like, we've got to get this done. I don't care about the expense. Have you had any word from the guards yet? No? Oh, things like that.
Is there somebody who looks like their reception?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Audacity will, escort Hortense up towards the reception desk. Excuse me, we're in from out of town, other side of the fog, in fact, and we're hoping to see the mayor if they're available.
Oh, you're... Oh, Fogwalkers, okay. Well,
Fogwalks. Sound of that. Fancy name. Much better than random weirdos who step through the fog on a bad idea.
well, you know, if enough people do it enough times, you get a fancy name. We love fancy names. I can try and get the mayor's attention. Ordinarily, if people who from the other side of the fog come into town, we do like to talk to them and, you know, make sure they're comfortable and stuff. But yeah, I understand things are a little bit hectic at the moment, but I'll do what I can.
I understand that completely. I mean, that volcano was big enough that some of it came out through the other side of the fog. It's why we came through.
Wow.
I don't know if something's come out through the fog going the other way before. Bit of a to-do.
Ah, to do indeed. All right, I'll see what I can do for you. Please wait here. And she gets up and she scurries over to the elderly gentleman and starts speaking to him in hushed tones. Anyone want to do anything before we go and see what our little fish friend is up to?
No, I think I'm good, actually. Fish
Yeah,
time!
I'm ready for this one to move along, I think.
All right, cool. All right, Giel, why don't you roll me some dice?
Yep.
For
I
all
assume
your
some
endeavors.
variation on a stealth check to sort of sidle up to conversations. Unobtrusively.
Yep. Do your sneaks.
So that was... Sneaks was... Okay.
It's
we
not your
have a
best
straight...
sneaks.
Not my best sneak. I'm a little
Overwhelmed.
obvious.
That too. Okay, yeah. So, there are a number of people milling around. There is a construction-looking group, and a security-looking group, and a diplomats-ish, government workers-looking group.
Mhm.
Which one would you like to approach?
Approach is a strong word, but I think I want to hear what the diplomats and the government folks are saying.
Okay, cool. So you attempt to sneak up to them to overhear what they're saying, and I might actually just roll collectively for all of them. That was a 9.
Yep.
They do not notice your poor attempt at sneaking. Other people may, but they did not.
Yep.
They are very preoccupied in what they're talking about, and you can hear them talking primarily about the theft and how they can't believe that somebody would do something like that. It's so rare that people would have that kind of the gall to rob someone, let alone a visitor to the town. He's never going to want to come back.
Right. Can I roll some form of insight check, knowing my knowledge of people what thieve things, to make an educated guess about what kind of robbery this might have been, picking up bits and pieces from the clues?
Sure.
Insight is +4.
That's a 9.
No.
So yeah, you're not getting a whole lot from them. Like, they all seem fairly perturbed by the notion that someone has done a thievery in their town. Primarily, they seem worried about the reputation of the town more than anything else, more than the actual physical robbery itself. But yeah, they just keep going on about what is this going to do, and one of them says, "Oh, and I heard that he went north. That's a terrible idea."
Okay. All right. Giel is gonna sort of unobtrusively back off and probably try and meet up with the rest of the group outside the mayor's house after they're done with the conversation and take that bit of info to them.
Okay, great. So we'll smash cut back over to the rest of the group. After a bit of conversation between the mayor and the receptionist, he does actually break away from the various different groups of people he was trying to manage, and he comes over to you, and he does, even without rolling an insight, he does seem to be in a bit of a fluster. I'm Hello, I am the Mayor of Bublin. I'm really sorry that I cannot be a better host to you at the moment. It's not every day that we have fogwalkers come across, but it's also not every day that we have somebody rob somebody else in our town or that the volcano erupts. So I'm a bit busy, so I do apologize in advance. How can I be of help?
Well, we've just arrived in town since, this volcanic explosion. It was so dramatic that we saw it on the other side of the fog. And then some magical, ominous stuff happened. It's all a bit confusing. It's been a weird morning for us, too. Uh, I heard about this robbery. Is everything okay? Were they hurt?
Oh, no one was hurt, thankfully. But we were hosting somebody from another town who was, very rich and very important. We were hoping to, set up some trades. But then when the volcano erupted, somebody broke into the room they were staying in and stole some of their possessions. It's very embarrassing, actually. And we've yet to find the thieves or the artifact.
Oh, an artifact. That's much more dramatic. You shouldn't be feeling too bad about things. Back on the other side of the fog in Hope Town, as soon as the explosions and fallen things from the volcano hit, we were getting all sorts of people looting as soon as there was the opportunity. It's just the sort of thing that happens when things get a bit dramatic.
Oh, and he's going to stop and turn to his receptionist. Like, please take a note that there is a town on the other side called Hope Town. That's fascinating, actually.
Do the people who come through the other fogwalkers not share too much information about the other side?
Well, I've never spoken to one personally, so this is a first for me. This is a first. This day has got me about 4 or 5 different firsts in since breakfast. But yes, no. I'm not caffeinated enough to be of particular help. So maybe you should just ask me some questions and see where we go from there.
Well,
Where did they go? Where did this where did this thief go? Were they observed at all?
No,
Do you know
nobody
where
I've
they've
asked
gone?
has any idea who they are. As far as we know, they wouldn't have left town unless they snuck over the wall, which is not completely out of the question. But
that's a small wall that you got.
it's a security theatre mostly. It's a little difficult to get over, but not impossible. But we do try and keep people going through the gates just in case something like this happens. But we may need to do something about that.
There's a saying back in the town I'm from where it's you show me a 10-foot wall, I'll show you a 12-foot ladder.
That's pretty obvious though, and it was in the middle of the day. Well, not in the middle. It was early morning, but still, it was in daylight. It was a daylight robbery. Huh.
I'm just a little bit suspicious because like you have something like such as a volcano eruption, which is how often does that happen, and then you also have a robbery. In a town that barely ever has any crime, and it's a fairly high-profile robbery as well. It's almost as if it were timed.
I can't imagine how anyone would be able to predict the volcano erupting. As far as I know, it's never erupted.
Well,
Unless the person who was robbed wasn't actually robbed. If the circumstances in which the robbery could have taken place were so specific that there's no possible way of actually predicting and planning in advance, and there was this rich out-of-towner, and in the middle of the day he got robbed of a rare artifact, my first suspicion would be that he indeed was not robbed and has absconded with the item himself and is using this as a subterfuge.
To what end, though?
I'd like to point out that you were saying that it was somebody broke into his room and took it rather than taking it off him themselves.
That's correct.
So I'm just gonna be a little strange and say that technically he was burgled and not robbed.
Okay, I will take that under advisement for linguistic differences.
I'm sorry, I just...
Fact of the matter is, something of his went missing, taken by a third party, in the confusion of the volcanic eruption, and it is going to do irreparable damage to the reputation of my town. And we're very small. We need all the reputation we can get. Good reputation, ideally.
Speaking of that reputation, how high profile was he amongst the town? Like, I understand that he's well known in high regard as far as your government is concerned, but how many people would have even known that?
He's very, very high profile. We're talking about Lord Valak, the person in charge of Valak City, one of the major commerce hubs on the continent. Very, very rich, very powerful, and we were going to be setting up a trade deal, but then when he was robbed, and then the volcano was erupting, and then this place isn't safe, he says to me, I am leaving immediately. And he left.
What was the item that was actually stolen?
He said it was some sort of rod or staff? Wand, perhaps? I don't remember exactly.
Right. And what was the gentleman's name?
Lord Valak.
Oh. Lord Valak. Okay. Well, the name isn't familiar to me, but I don't imagine there'd be no reality in which it would be. Oh, it's as if he's my secret uncle.
Where did he go? Because, he said he went off. Did he say where he would? He would go back home? Did he?
Well, I assume that he would at least attempt to return to Valak, but if not, there's only a few different directions he could have gone. Hopefully he didn't go directly north. That would be very problematic for someone with his amount of money. But he could have gone to, the northwest, to Emil. He could have gone northeast or directly east to Lorraine. But who knows? Valak is to the south.
Right. Out of character for a second. The people that Giel overheard was talking about him going to the north. I'm not a geography expert, but those are two different directions. So, why would he officially go in one direction?
I will remind you, you don't know about that particular conversation yet.
I know, that's why I'm saying out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we don't know that he officially went in any particular direction.
He could have obfuscated. I want to... This is, again, out of character. I reckon he burgled himself. In which case, he robbed himself.
Okay.
It was a self-inflicted burglaring. That's just my opinion.
So here's the plan. In that case, we split the party semi-permanently. We have one travel north and the other travel south.
And we make the end hate us forever as we undertake equally complicated admin quests to the north and the south. It might be easier if we just confirm with the guards or whatever, or whoever's watching the gate and check. But also, like, hold on, I wanna. Can I would like to roll Arcana to check if I know about any rods that can cause volcanoes to erupt.
Okay, go for it.
I don't think it's a thing, but I vaguely remember there was like a rod of thunder or something in like a campaign, and I'm just gonna try. RD20 plus 3? No, not the circus page. The National Library has like an exhibition on circuses coming up, and I'm putting it in my diary. Not RD20. Come on. You're smarter than this. I'm very tired. 7.
Nope. I'm not even going to try and flavor it. The answer is no.
All right. I keep this revelation to myself. There is no earthquake rod.
Okay, so out of character for myself, just to clarify, because I know we heard what in obviously in person we heard what Giel said, but so the mayor said that they were heading, well, presumably heading back to their city, but did she say that they're heading north, or?
No, the
Or
mayor
he
said they
said,
didn't
sorry?
know which way he was going.
Yeah, they said they didn't know. Right, okay.
Also, to clarify, north is towards the volcano?
No, the volcano is is to the east.
Right.
Well, up until we get a cursed ring, I feel like we should avoid the volcano.
Yeah. Well, Audacity's got fire resistance.
We don't have any hobbits to throw in. Or marshmallows.
Hmm.
Or hobbits covered in marshmallows.
Okay, cool. So, are you going to
alright,
ask the mayor any other questions or anything?
I'm gonna thank the mayor for their time and head back outside and wait at the entrance.
Okay.
I'm gonna head back outside and see if I can spot Giel, actually.
Before we leave the mayor, I want to ask, when was the last time the volcano erupted?
It's not been in my lifetime.
Oh, okay. And does the volcano have a name?
Let me find it. Yes, it's called Harmony Peak.
Oh, well, that's unintentionally misleading now. Although I guess it would make sense that the volcano has erupted in the past if the farming is so good around this area.
Also, I'm pretty sure that to have a volcano that's sticking up out of the ground, it has to have erupted.
Well, yes, you're not wrong.
The mayor just sort of gives a bit of a shrug, like he's not the expert on this subject.
Yeah, he really didn't think he'd be having these kinds of conversations when he got up this morning.
No, he really didn't.
I gotta say, it's fascinating to have heard of, to learn about there being a volcano in here. Until this morning, we didn't even know that there was a volcano. It's, get to the market in Hopetown this morning and the fog explodes. That was quite a ride.
God, that's quite fascinating. If there was debris from the volcano coming across the fog.
That's what I was thinking. We've never heard of anything coming back out.
I want to ask as well, if we help you figure out who stole this rod and whatnot, can we get some money?
If you were to solve this mystery for us, if you were to catch the thieves, it would absolutely be a reward for you.
Okay, cool. Well, I've already spent like a 10th of my money or like a 12th of my money on I don't know how much money I had. On a G&T and a chickpea curry. So I feel like I need to make some money on this side because I don't know if my vendor's license is still valid through the fog.
Oh, you're a shopkeeper. Oh well, if we might be able to organize something once you get settled. I mean, history being what it is, we aren't expecting that you'll be able to get back through the other side. So, do let me know when there is not several disasters happening to me at once. If you are interested in doing business with Boblin. But that will have to be a conversation for another day. I'm very sorry.
No, that's to be expected. Okay. I think we should go to the sorry. James just sent me a message that distracted me. I've left my business savings in the other cart. back at the shop. Oh God, I'm gonna be robbed. Yeah, I think we should go to the city gate and ask anyone around there if they saw what direction he left in. But I think before we leave this town as well, we should investigate the actual scene of the crime.
Right. I'm just gonna smile at the mayor. It's like, we'll let you get back to your busy, weird day. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the welcome. We'll try not to be another one of the problems that you're dealing with.
I appreciate that very much. And he is going to turn around and head back to his disaster management.
Which one?
That's the question. Both.
They're cumulative.
Cumulative, yes. Yes.
The goddamn things. It's just one goddamn thing after another. Incorrect. The goddamn things happen at the same time.
Everything
The
happens
goddamn
so
things
much.
overlap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everything happens so much. Okay, so the party is going to now head out of the mayor's building. I want to say like City Hall, but it's not quite
Town
that.
hall?
Town Hall?
Yeah.
And where's Giel at? You loitering near the
Waiting
door?
for them at the door, I want to say.
Loitering? Lollygagging?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Are you being stealthy about it, or can we see you as we come out?
No, you can see me.
Okay, great. We come out the door and we can perceive one fish guy.
Yeah. Hi.
So what did you learn?
Not as much as I was hoping, but hope you learned a little bit more. All I know is that whoever it was that got robbed was pretty important and went north, and that's apparently not a place that they really wanted him to go.
I mean,
wow!
apparently-
You actually found out where they went.
Yeah, we found out who he was. He's, big shot, runs trading town to the south. So if he's storming out angrily, then going south would have made sense. But if he's gone north, then that's a bit more of a fun situation. I mean, are we gonna try and follow him, since this seems to be the most interesting thing going on at the moment?
I would be interested in having a look at the crime scene, but considering that it's like the house he was staying on, that might look a bit sus. So,
Well, we've functionally been contracted to check out this area that we'd get a reward if we figured out who it is. So from my perspective, it's tacit approval to go and investigate the scene of the crime.
oh yeah, absolutely.
So I don't think we asked the mayor where the robbery happened, though.
Well, you have two options. You can, well, three options actually. You can guess. No, four options. Guess, check every building in town, go back in and ask the mayor, or ask someone else.
You said there was some. Oh, sorry. Did you want to go?
Oh, I was just gonna say we could just go back in and ask the secretary.
I mean, seems to be the talk of the town.
I was just gonna ask the security folk that apparently I'm assuming I can see them as well.
Oh yeah, they're pretty obvious.
Just walk up and say the mayor's hired us to has hired us to solve this crime. Us, random band of weirdos.
Are you going to actually do that?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. With that exact wording?
I wouldn't necessarily call this a random band of weirdos. I would say the mayor has hired us, a specialist group with an outside perspective to investigate this crime. We've been hired.
Oh, well, it's good to get an outside opinion. This is not something we're particularly experienced in. We're doing our best, though. What kind of approach would you like to take?
Well, we'd like to investigate the scene of the crime first. And any information you can give us about the fellow that was burgled and what was stolen would be very helpful. And the timeline information. So when exactly he arrived in time in town, and when he was burgled, and when he realized that he was burgled, and any information you can give us, basically.
Roll a persuasion.
Okay. I have a plus. I have a -1 to persuasion. Oh my gosh, does anyone want to help me?
Well, I'm right next to you, so I will help. How does
the,
that work?
the help
Um,
action?
Yeah, if you're doing
Yeah.
the help action, it means that Carolina can roll with advantage.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so -1. That's an 8. Let's try that again. That's a 19.
Hey!
That's a nat 20.
That's a nat 20. Very nice. Okay, so this group of people, they look at each other and they sort of look down at, like, they've got little notes and stuff. They're like, okay, well, here's everything that we know. Okay, so the person who was robbed was Lord Valak from Valak City in the south. He'd been here for 2 days, was in negotiations with Mayor Ashland about trade routes between Boplin and Valak. And he was robbed this morning. The volcano had only just erupted. It was probably about maybe 20 minutes where he started kicking a fuss after the eruption, once the ground stopped shaking and stuff. He said that one of his precious possessions, which he had kept in a chest for safekeeping, had been stolen from his room, which was he was not in the room at the time he was having breakfast, but he was robbed about breakfast time, and it was taken from a chest in his room.
To your knowledge, does Valak know magic?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
The chest was locked, yes?
I assume so.
Okay. Did anyone detect magic to see if it was unlocked via being picked, or unlocked, or broken with magic?
Do an insight roll.
Okay. I've got a +3 to insight, so this should hopefully this goes pretty good. Hold on. D20 +3. 11.
Okay. So luckily this wasn't a very high roll. He's talking about detect magic and stuff like that, and you get the immediate impression that this guy doesn't actually recognize that set of words as talking about a spell. It suddenly occurs to you that this is a country bumpkin. He does not have a lot of experience with magic outside of possibly the healers. So he's got no idea what you're talking about. Also, probably the answer to your question was no.
Okay. I follow that up by asking if they can direct us to the scene of the crime, so we can perform a more thorough investigation.
Oh, of course. It's this house over here, and he leads you back through the town to a very nice house, which is very close to the inn. And he said, "This is the house where he was staying."
Cool.
I
Alright.
have one question. This is directed to the guards, by the way. I'm assuming, so he's a high-profile character, ruler of a city reasonably nearby. How many people did he have with him? Because I'm assuming that, like, you know, he wasn't just traveling by himself.
Oh no, he had a retainer of 6 people, and they've all left at the same time.
They all followed him, as far as you know.
Mhm.
Okay. Just curious. Do you mind if we enter in?
Oh,
Because
please.
we are investigating.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
Hortense has already entered the building by the time you ask this question.
Yeah, I'm actually asked that because she has entered and not otherwise.
You're retroactively being polite on Hortense's behalf.
So we're at the building where it happened.
Yep.
Yes.
I just smile at the guards on the way past. Don't worry, I've seen quite my share of crime scenes over the years, so we should be able to get through this. Technically not wrong. Not lying.
Technically, not a lie.
I mean, it's unlikely to be a ghost this time.
I can
Yes,
neither confirm nor
I-
deny the presence of a ghost at this point in time.
The only thing you promised is no Tarrasque or Tarrasques.
True, I did promise no Tarrasque or Tarrasques as part of the campaign. Okay,
Look,
so you're going to.
things to see in the campaign at some point.
All right, so you're going in and having a look. All right, cool. Who would like to roll an investigation?
Can we all roll one?
Absolutely. I'll even do one for Omen. What's your investigation, buddy? Like a lot of your stats. Fat nothing.
4.
One.
Cool.
So Julian is the one who's awake.
He's like laser focused, and the G&T started to hit me a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Wow. That's okay, so we got a 4 from Giel, a nat 1 from Hortense, a nat 1 from Omen. Just thought we got 2 nat
Walk into
1s.
each other.
Yes, a 4, a nat 1, a nat 1, a nat 20 from Julian, and then a 7 from Audacity. Whew. Okay. I'm gonna say that Giel and Hortense and Omen don't see shit nor dick. Audacity, you you kind of you start looking around, and this is a single-story building. I can give everybody this for free. This is a single-story building with a long hall and then several rooms off of that hall. And looking around in the hall, you can see that it's kind of like it's like dining at one end, and then sort of like a couple of bookcases and recreation at the other end. And that's kind of what you get. Julian, that is a nat 20. That's incredible. Okay, so you're looking around. You can see the remnants of breakfast and how things were shaken off shelves when the volcano erupted. And there's a few bits of damage here and there. And you can see there are several rooms and there are several bedrooms. And looking around at each of them, you can tell that this room obviously had half of the retainer, and that room had the other half of the retainer, and then the room in the middle, this was where Lord Valak was. It's got a very nice big bed, and then there's the chest where you assume all of the possessions were. It's in a bit of a disarray. Like, the chest is open, there's some things flung about the place. Like, he didn't actually stop to pack when he left. And I will give you more if you ask for specific things, but that's what you get initially.
Yeah. Sure.
Meanwhile, the rest of us are looking around being like, it's definitely a room with items in it.
Yep. There was habitation happening.
Okay. Will I need to roll again to ask for more specifics, or
No. You got a nat 20. Here is your set number of stuff that I can just give you. If you want to ask for more detail about one thing or another, I can give you that too. But you don't have to roll again.
No worries. Okay. What does what items has he has this lord just basically discarded and run off in a hurry? Like what is lying around that looks like it's been sorted through by them?
So there's a lot of things like there's fabrics. There's a couple of books. You figure that some things have been picked up, but not a whole lot. The bed is unmade. There's it looks like a lot of personal things, to be honest. But looking in the chest, there is definitely a few pieces of fabric still. You can also find a few. They're not quite business cards. They're like wooden tokens of some sort.
Okay. I would like to investigate the tokens.
All right, cool. You can look at them a little closely. They're they're about the size of a maybe half a business card. They're about yay big, and they're thin strips of wood, and they have common on one side says Valak on one side with some sort of emblem, and then on the other side it says silks, spices, and wine.
Hey, just in case, I'm going to roll an Arcana check on the tokens. Plus something.
You don't think that there's anything in particular that's magical. Like, it's not a magical item per se. But as you're sort of tilting it from side to side, you do notice that the text does slightly shimmer as if it were metallic, but it's still like wood colored. So you think it might be maybe got the minor enchantments to look fancy.
That's that bone coloring. Interesting. Hey guys, I found these tokens here. Anyone want to have a look at them? They're kind of curious.
Potentially yes. Just let me read a thing on my character sheet. Probably not. Giel's gonna have a look at them anyway, just to see what it sees. But
all right, roll its dice.
Yeah, keeping in mind that I have this may not apply, so I'm not expecting this to apply, but just in case, when I enter a ruin or dungeon, in this case we determined that counts shipwreck. Can correctly ascertain its original purpose, determine its builders. In addition, you can determine the monetary value of art objects more than a century old.
Nice.
So I have some knowledge of things, and I'm also going to roll a. I guess that'd just be straight up insight. I don't think I have a knowledge that's relevant.
You can do an Arcana, or you can roll another investigation if you'd like.
I prefer to roll an insight than investigation, if that's all the same to you.
Yeah, okay, it's all the same to me.
Can I roll a history check?
Sure. Okay, 13. That's not bad. Okay, so you look at these tokens, you see the emblem. The emblem doesn't mean anything to you, and
Clearly,
like what Julian found, that shimmer, you can definitely tell that it has been enchanted to be a little bit fancy, so that you can tilt it and it's got that shimmer on it. And on the back, where it says silk, spice, and wine, each of the words shimmer a different color depending on which angle you're pointing it at. So
fancy.
this has you reckon this is probably actually pretty expensive as far as a small piece of wood is concerned because of the enchantment. But it's functionally just a business card.
Okay.
Okay. 13 on that history check. Was there anything in particular that you were trying to ascertain with that history check?
I was trying to see if this is a type of token that has been used historically on our side of the fog as well.
It's not completely out of the question for people to have something like a business card or a wax seal or things like that. This is the first one of this kind that you've ever seen. Like, you've not seen it made out of wood and then to be enchanted to be all fancy pants. That's you've never seen that before. But the vague concept of what you are holding, absolutely, people do things like that on your side.
Cool. I would like to keep one of these just in case.
All right, cool. You now have one Valak business card.
Can I have a closer look at the chest?
Sure.
The chest itself.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
looking
Giel is going to pocket the rest of the business cards, by the way.
Okay.
looking into the lock, does it show the signs I would be familiar with of having been picked? Like, picks will leave scratches, that sort of thing.
Do you want to roll for it?
Yep. What am I rolling?
Probably an investigation, but because of the context, you can have advantage.
Okay. I was going to ask if I apply my thieves' tool thing, but advantage works. 11.
Yeah, it does look like it was picked, but not elegantly.
Interesting. I
As you
relate
guys you relay
This
that
might
fact?
be. Oh, sorry.
Okay. No, sorry.
This might be a little bit too much information than we could probably get from observing that. But can I also investigate the lock to try and determine because how it was picked? Like, just because I'm assuming I'm just basically assuming that Audacity's already like said this to everyone, but so we all know it. Like, basically what I'm trying to figure out is if it was done by someone in a hurry with probably improper tools for the job, or
Well, just based on what Audacity was able to glean from looking at the lock, that's exactly it. Like, it was not done elegantly. It was like they only had a small amount of time to take advantage of the volcano erupting, right? So like, it wasn't done with finesse. It was picked, but it was on the brute force side of picked, if that makes sense. What I will give you, though, Julian, as you are having a closer look at this part of the room, because you got that nat 20 on that investigation of the entire room, the window for this room, you notice that it's kind of, the chest is almost in clear view of that window, and it faces the inn.
Oh, okay. In, lady. For shame.
Okay. Is there anything else I want to do? Are there any other rooms in this building?
Oh yeah, plenty.
Because I'm assuming my investigation doesn't count for the whole house, because that would be a bit silly. But,
No, just for in here.
All right, I'm going to move into the next room and see what I can see.
Okay.
And I'll roll that with
investigation again. Everyone is welcome.
I'm probably going to have to finish up soon, by the way.
Yeah. No, I was just
same.
time. I was just letting you guys finish your poking around in this house first.
Yep.
19!
19. Good. We like that.
I walk into a door.
Hey!
Okay. Looking around the rest of the house, The best that actually, I'll roll one for Omen too, just for shits and giggles. Yep. Omen and Audacity don't see anything. Everybody else, you're looking around, and like with the Lord's room, the place seems to have been vacated in a hurry. But as far as you can tell, there were no other locks picked. There was nothing else missing. It was just pandemonium when the volcano erupted, and then the theft happened, and then he realized the theft happened, and he's like, "Nah, I'm just getting out of Dodge." So there's a lot of like they didn't like. This is obviously some sort of guest house. It's not a house that somebody lives in and then gave up for the Lord. And it's not part of the inn. It's, you know, kind of like an Airbnb, I guess. Fantasy Airbnb. But like, it wasn't. It was left in a hurry. People didn't like close doors. They didn't make the beds. They didn't do anything, and nobody else has been in here except for the security detail.
Interesting. Okay. I kind of want to make another character now that a thief that has like an OCD aspect to them, where they always make the beds of the houses that they break into. But in a more serious note, I reckon I'm not gonna be an absolute thief, but I think I'm gonna grab myself some fine clothes while I'm here, if there's any left lying around.
Yeah, I'll say that you can find a set of fine clothes, sure.
And
do you want to do a sleight of hand?
No, I didn't think anyone was really observing. Oh, I mean, I don't mind if my party notices. No, and
No.
I would.
I would recommend doing a sleight of hand.
Silence says everything.
20 minus. Actually, no, not minus. Not minus. +1.
Okay, that's not too bad. I'm going to say with the 12, everybody who has a passive perception of 12 or higher notices, which I think might be everybody.
Yep.
But the guards do not. You now have one
what
set
was
of
being
fine clothes.
swiped? What was being swiped? I missed that part of the sentence.
Fine clothes. One set of clothes. And I think that is where we will wrap up for tonight. We will carry on with our investigation of the theft next time.
Sounds excellent.
I hope everybody had fun, and have a wonderful evening. Night.
Good night, everybody.
Very much.